The state of the gacha space is something that I always find fascinating because we're always just one bad take away about a video game that sells anime girls from total chaos. And I always find that fascinating. I want you to think about this for a second. So here we are. I feel like the current state right now is like we're complete order, we're chill, everybody's doing good. I feel like there's some drama fatigue. I called it out previously in the most recent big drama, and I feel like now it's really showing itself. People are not only drama fatigue, but also I feel like negativity fatigue, and they're tired of feeling so angry and having this level of displeased towards something. Like they're displeased, they're gonna look at some dev practices and go, yeah, I don't agree with that, but the reality is I don't want to keep feeding this displeasing feeling I have towards them. It's like, okay, I get it, I understand its nature, it is what it is. People are just tired of being so openly aggressive and just being mad all the time about a video game that sells anime girls. All right, I feel like people are tired of that feeling, period, in their lives, in most important venues. People just want to feel like, I just want to live life, man. Can I live life? I'd appreciate if I could just live for a bit. I'd really appreciate that when I have to remain angry and everything all the goddamn time. That's just too tiresome. But in true gacha space fashion, of course, this is kind of the state what we have right now, but we're all one bad take away about a video game that sells anime girls from total chaos, from having us having lawsuits, from grown-ass men being called the cum dumpsters, from we're talking about ex relationships. We're all one bad take away, man. We're all one bad take away. And I always find that fascinating about the gacha space. Now, whether you like it or not, we might be nerding out here, but I feel like the social dynamics are pretty interesting, to say the least. I feel like the gacha space and the gacha players there's a level of maturity that is happening right before our eyes, and also a level of discipline that's being introduced to the the wiser, I think is the term I'm looking for, to people that don't know better, but they can see the current trend and they can go, you know what, maybe I am exaggerating. Maybe I am taking this a little too seriously. Like all in all, it's just a stupid video game, right? Like I get it. It should be this. It's not. I'm not going to be too, I'm not going to let it get to me that much, right? I'm still going to be like, man, fuck this, but not to the degree where I'm going to have to start rioting and being aggressive towards others that don't agree with my opinion about a video game that once again sells anime girls. I have to keep mentioning that, of course. A good reminder, a very good reminder. So we have a video here of Arigato Zoda, and I like this guy. He says the gacha space has changed. I feel like the gacha space has definitely changed for the better. I think my title is going to be has changed for the better. I feel like a lot of people are wisening up. There's a lot more maturity. I believe the gacha space has changed for the better in the sense of people are maturing, people are wisening up, they're more disciplined. They don't want to perpetuate an extremely aggressive approach towards these dev companies. The fact is, Genshin Impact has shown how far aggression can go, and it really doesn't give us a good name anyway. Look at Google Classroom, am I right? And so I feel like people are just calming down. I feel like we are in a good level where we can critique, we can talk about this. The devs are looking, we understand and we know that they are looking, and whether or not they're going to implement these changes or not is we're going to determine whether we remain, let's just say, as open in our patience towards the betterment of X game, or instead have to move to a different game where the dev practices are more to our satisfaction. And so I feel like that's kind of the song and dance we have right now. I feel like that is the best approach we have currently in the gacha space due to their nature, because ultimately you really want to play multiple gachas, because when it's game time, I'll be honest, I love Withering Waves, but I just log in for 3-5 minutes and I'm out. That's not enough time. And so even with NTE right now, I still don't even have enough time. Like I'm ready to pick up maybe another gacha just to, have more things to do, but it depends on how busy you are. I'll be honest, man. I think I'm about to miss out on the Fawn's Rush in NTE. I have like 2 days left. I still have max stamina. I gotta do something. I'm screwed, man. I'm screwed. But apparently I can AFK that stuff. I gotta look into it. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to not miss any updates.
I guess I better go subscribe to VXV Gacha.
I must admit, I'm making this
What?
video almost exclusively out of a sense of nostalgia for the past.
Oh,
Even if things
I love nostalgia, man. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is selling the heck out of nostalgia. Like nostalgia is, there isn't Broly, even in Dragon Ball. Like Broly is just peak nostalgia bait. Nostalgia sells, man. Nostalgia is a powerful thing. I would say, like for example, Withering Waves, like the next region, that's nostalgia. If we go back to Huang Long and see those old units and stuff, just buff them, please. That's some nostalgia over there, man. I think we'd appreciate that.
things weren't exactly peachy at the time. A few days before the release of version 2.0,
Yeah, ZZZ, man. Look at those, man. Look at those. Those are some good-looking MCs. You know what I'm saying.
for Zenless Zone Zero, I posted a video addressing the rise in bad faith slander of ZZZ and its community from the Wuthering Waves community following the game's growing popularity from the success of the earlier 2.x versions and Renacida.
Hating on another video game is just weird behavior, man. Like nothing screams bait ass, cuck, I swear I'm a virgin type of behavior more than that, in my opinion. Like, oh my god. I laugh. Like it if you don't like it, you can criticize it. But if you're gonna grandstand on that, if you want to grandstand, that's just an extreme that makes you look very weird, man.
Slander, which I was 100% correct about, but failed to uphold due to 1. An inability to stand my own ground in favor of staying in the good graces of larger gacha creators, and 2. My own
Ooh, that's a trap. Oh, that's a trap, man. That's a trap. You always gotta do that, but you still gotta withhold your identity. I understand the pressure that comes. I've been there before, but you gotta withhold your identity. And sometimes you're just in the wrong, and that was me before. Sometimes I'm just in the wrong, and I'll just take the L. And it's a learning experience, and I grow from it. I still hold certain advice with a certain care because it allowed me to improve as a person and as a creator. But others, I'll admit, I should have stood my ground and said, "What the fuck do you know? This is how I do things. You can kiss my ass." I should have done that too. But it is what it is. At first, like we're all trying to fit in because it feels like when it comes to creators, and especially if you want to, let's just say, interact with creators, it's like entering a room with a group of people and you want to be welcome in true socializing fashion. You want to be welcome. You want to find your place in the new space you want to be in. And for that, it's best to be friends with everybody instead of having enemies, of course. And in doing that, especially when someone has more presence than you, the numbers, well, it's very important that, well, it's more favorable for you to be in their good graces rather than, be an enemy to them. So, I mean, having enemies as CC is already cringe in itself, I feel like, considering what we're covering over here, but that's besides the point. That's just, I'm just saying.
failure to remain calm and composed when put through the ringer of online discourse as a brand new creator.
Oh, yeah, that can get to you. I remember my first ever call out, like when someone first came at me, the surge of emotion was so powerful. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like it. The reason why is, of course, because you can't throw hands. I feel like that's a very important component that is missing in internet drama, and I feel like why maybe people react as, let's just say, as aggressive, as energetic as they do, is because there is no other avenue in which all that triggered reaction can go out as. You're either gonna punch a wall or do something, right? You're gonna go out, maybe hit the sandbag or something, or you're gonna react, very aggressively online. You're gonna react very emotionally online. It's one of the two. The fact that we can't throw hands, I feel like, is the ultimate problem with internet. Let's just say misunderstandings. Just call them that because I'm sweet. I'm sweet like
That second point being something that I was a repeat offender of in my earlier months before going completely MIA. But now that it's been over a year since then, and going through only a couple trials by fire, I'd like to create a sort of spiritual successor to that video for today. To start out, let's talk about the Hoyo Trio and the Kuro Kingslayer, formerly known as the Big Four. The modern gacha space is rapidly approaching a point of oversaturation as the entire development scene is catching up to the trailblazing Godfather and its first real challenger.
I think we won't really have much oversaturation. Here's why. It's because of the nature of these games in themselves. Granted, if you're a spender, yes, that is over fucking saturation. But if you're just a gamer that's trying to find the free-to-play games to just play in your game time, well, due to their nature of you can only play for 3 to 5 minutes, I mean, it's like fuck. Like no, with Not really. Also, if you really like this live service, oh, new patch, here's the extension of the story, here's something new, etc. Well, these games are pretty good at that. So, yeah, I think all in all, depending on the type of player, this can either be considered oversaturation or this is good, man. Hey, y'all keep it coming. And most importantly, make sure you do things better than they are, especially when it comes to the gacha formula. So that way we can have an easier time as consumers navigating this shit as free to plays. We'd appreciate it if you could. Thank you very much. And hopefully the already existing ones can do something about it. Looking at you, Withering Waves 50/50. That's criminal keeping it in Lucy, man.
Players of these games can always play more than one at any given time. The repetition and exhaustion from playing just one of these is greatly magnified with each gacha added to someone's pile. And this is without even addressing non-gacha related events that can further complicate someone's commitment.
Events should simply give you the rewards even if you don't play them. I'm dying on that hill. I know people are making me look crazy for saying this. Oh, he wants rewards without even playing. What is he even It's a mini game. It's not the game you signed up for. When I fire off Withering Waves, I'm not trying to play Tetris. I'm not trying to play whatever that 8-bit game they give you as an event or something. That's not why I signed up for. I signed up for a flashy, interactable combat, right? That's what I signed up for. When you launch Withering Waves, when you talk about Withering Waves, that's what people are talking about. They're not talking about some random ass event that nobody gives a fuck about, but you have to interact with for the sake of getting premium currency because you're trying to save as much as possible, and they have to maintain that. Why? To keep uh, artificially creating value for a premium currency within the game that is worthless socially speaking. That's why that happens. It's for you to get the misconception that that is really worth your time. Because when you do something you don't like to get something that you think is worth it, isn't that the same as a job? Isn't that how most people do their job? And so it's like, I don't know, man. To me, it will always keep rubbing me the wrong way. It's just weird. I personally don't like it. Events should just be this thing that the only penalizing thing that if you don't do them soon is the very nature of FOMO within the banners that they have to roll away eventually. That I feel like is the best thing. Why aren't we speaking more about this is beyond me, man. As I said so, even in front of creators and everybody, nobody backed me up. They agreed, but ain't nobody backing me up because people can't see that being a thing. But I feel like unless we speak out and unless we really make it a point of, well, this is bullshit, we would love this for it to be changed, it's never going to change. It's like accepting things the way they are is not how things change. Yeah, we can tolerate them, sure, but I feel like the tolerance level has starting to reach a certain level because, like he said, well, there's now multiple gotchas. So when you consider that and you have to do events in each, and they're all not what you signed up for, well, I don't know about you, man, but that becomes very annoying.
Such as IRL responsibilities, new retail game releases, or even picking up a different hobby altogether.
Like getting bitches. That's a good hobby, I hear.
This aforementioned exhaustion can be seen with the growing fatigue of the open world gacha formula that newer releases like Arknight's Enfield and Neverness to Everness have undoubtedly felt some degree of diminishing returns from. Enfield especially, given it's not the one you can at least drive a car in. The natural result of this is your average player making an ultimatum and digging their heels into a select few gachas within their library and either abandoning the rest or reducing them to being an occasional distraction from their day-to-day routine. And that's not to say it's impossible for new gacha games to find an audience, but when the chips are down, a majority of the mainstream audience already have an investment, familiarity,
There it is. And sunk cost fallacy.
and sense of comfort within these 4 specific games and their future. What we're seeing within the gacha space mirrors that of the live service gaming crash happening right now within the Western gaming market. But unlike live service gaming, I predict the gacha market will crash even faster because of the inherent repetitive gameplay loops within the genre, the heavy investment of your time and potentially money, and the complete absence of any meaningful multiplayer content.
Well, for the people that invest money, it's very hard for them to just quit because of sunk cost fallacy. Multiplayer definitely plays a part because these games stop being competitive, and competition really allows guys to play something and care about something more than they should, especially the more competitive they are. The only multiplayer aspect, of course, we have is, well, gacha PvP in terms of drama and stuff, but that's, like I said at the start, that's starting to die out. and flexing bills and stuff like that. That's always enjoyable. That's kind of fun to see. But besides that, not having multiplayer is I think it's both a detriment and a good thing in a sense. It's like I like how NGE is going about it, where it's just a bunch of mini games that you can do with like friends, or you can PvP if you want, but nothing more. And I think that's a good thing. It's not like the inherent thing you signed up for within the game, like the combat, like you're gonna go band for band, right? Because that's kind of how the nature of Gacha is. You have to go band for band, and I think that's fine because the fact is these games really want to capitalize on making you feel better about yourself, making you feel that you're more than you actually are, etc. They do these things to make you feel good. It's a bit of a safe space type of games, type of approach. It feels like more than, hey, you suck, I beat you, blah 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 blah. Right? Like you're never gonna get insulted while playing a gacha. That's just not going to happen unless you dabble too much in co-op and stuff. Then that could happen. I mean, it is the internet, but all in all, I feel like the average, majorly speaking, experience of a gacha player is going to be, very safe, very PvE friendly, just you doing your thing. You might interact with the community or not. It's up to you. And that's it, and you log out. And the fact that there's no multiplayer allows that good, feel-good thing to continue, basically.
So when I see something like Wan Yu Moongaze introduce
Yeah.
the possibility
That's a good game, man. I like this game.
of character-exclusive vehicle traversal, I think, oh, that's neat. Then I see the gameplay, and I just want to run away screaming. In
Fine.
short, while the Big Four are no longer the Big Four, you can rest assured in their continued support. It's every gacha game coming afterwards that will be fighting in the trenches for your attention and financial backing.
Okay, I'm assuming the one on the right is Azure Premilia. The other one, I don't know.
And while on the topic of new releases, promises and potential cannot sustain a new gacha release the same way it did anymore. Genshin, HSR, ZZZ, and Wuwa could get away with their initial shortcomings because the idea of a consistently updated, high-quality anime game was still new and exciting, and the space itself didn't have many options to turn to.
Fair.
Is it a double standard to judge a new gacha game when we would excuse poor launch versions prior? Yes, it is, but the community will still make that decision regardless of what you think is and is not fair. Next up, I want to talk about community.
Especially when you consider the individual levels. Like ultimately, it all comes down to each person individually, and then that creates a certain level of consensus when people reach the same conclusion. And that's probably what's going to happen. Is like ultimately, people are going to do what's right for them, and that's going to be the consensus. And that's, I think, the best way to go about it.
Gacha tribalism is at an all-time high as of late.
What? I would say it's low. Wait, am I tripping? Huh? Hey, look, maybe it's my algorithm, but I think I barely see it. I barely see it. I'll be real. I barely see it, man. People have attempted to drag me into it. I was like, yeah, I'll just leave you on red or some shit. I don't know. That's it. It's like, what? That's it. I don't think, maybe it's just me, because I know the algorithm will feed you the thing that you engage with the most. And because maybe it saw that I don't engage with it, it just stopped giving it to me. So that's why I'm unaware. But I'm surprised to see this, because from my perspective, it's barely existent. And it's kind of like why I said what I said at the start is I feel like there's drama fatigue. People are just tired of this whole tribalistic stuff. It's obviously beta cuck bullshit. I want to do the fucking, not watch someone do it. Like, I ain't trying to be no cuck, no bitch, right? So, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is shocking to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit of an unk. I'm not into the right places in the internet, Twitter, Reddit. Maybe that's why I don't know, but I don't know.
Always existed, but I genuinely believe more so now than ever that there's been a gradual rise in its intensity without going down. I've already stated why I believe this to be the case in a previous video, but I'm going to
I'll be honest, I think it's the opposite. I'll be real. I seriously think it's the opposite, but
repeat it here and present some evidence to prove my point. I think we can all agree that it's inevitable that there will be some form of tribalism between gacha communities given the non-existent barrier to entry for sites like Twitter and Reddit. And we can also agree that the majority within every community is willing to act in good faith, but simply choose not to engage with social media or do so in sectioned off corners away from all the discourse and vitriol. There is, however, one critical variable that is the very reason why the tribalism has gotten so bad reside within the
Which is?
Western gacha community specifically. And while it resides primarily within the Wuthering Waves community, it is not actually the fault of the WoWa community at large, but rather a set of circumstances that position them in that situation.
Yeah.
I'm referring
Around the launch of Wuthering Waves, the Genshin Impact community was a little too hostile towards people in the WoWa community. And when WoWa took off, and now it's like a payback time, bitch. So we're having what we're having.
to anti-Hoyoverse content creators, recognizable individuals, both big and small in size and reach, that for one reason or another has
Who the hell are these
championed
characters,
Wuthering
man?
Waves and Kuro Games as the ideal future for gacha games and gacha development. They then aggressively push the idea that WoWa is the only game worth recognizing within the space and regularly target Hoyoverse communities and Hoyoverse games.
There is some fairness in that because obviously WoWa is clearly a better polished game than Genshin Impact. That's just a fact. And we cannot say otherwise. So, from a gamer perspective, in terms of quality in what we're going to recommend, you want to recommend the best. WoWa fits that category. However, what people have missed is that there, and myself included in the past, is that there's a new wave of gamers. It's a new wave, the neo gamers, the kids that have now grown up and stuff, right? Gen Z gamer, whatever you want to call them. I see these guys, they don't necessarily give a fuck. I see that's surprising to me. They're kind of based. I'll be honest. That's pretty based. That's changed my perspective on things. See, they don't give a shit. I don't care if this is the most more polished or not. It's kind of like slop. It's like people that watch slop on YouTube, which I found that's how I recognized I was a bit of a hypocrite because I can enjoy slop on YouTube, and is slop the thing that people would recommend me to watch? Well, hell no, because it's slop. It's there's other videos that are more well crafted, more well scripted, more well spoken, etc. So much things to go for them, but you don't choose to watch those. You watch the things that you vibe with the best. And it's the same for them. They're a bunch of people. They play what they play. They like what they like, and they play what they like. That's it. It's really not that complicated. And if what they like happens to be Genshin Impact, for all intents and purposes, from a gamer perspective, in terms of polish, in terms of quality, etc., an inferior product to Withering Waves in that regard, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be less popular. I mean, look at something like Among Us. It was very popular for it's what, like, not even, or is it a 2D game? What the hell is that? So you don't need something to be the more well polished, the most well crafted, and stuff like that to be very enjoyable and for it to be the most popular. That's something we learned the hard way, especially recently. And the games like Among Us around that time showcased this. And so, because of that, I feel like as long as you recognize that and you keep that in mind as you proceed with your interactions with the space, I think it's a good thing. I think just keep that in mind before firing at someone for having a preference that is not the same as yours. We have to respect each other's preferences, and I feel like the more respectful we are towards each other, the healthier the space is. And we understand why, because now we know why. At first, it didn't make much sense because clearly this is better. I mean, fuck, from all intents and purposes, obviously. But look, people are going to do what people are going to do. It is what it is. We're all different in our tastes and what we like. We're all different, and we have to acknowledge that and, of course, respect that.
Fighting back against tribalism with their own tribalism. This is why I believe the Wuthering Waves community is constantly referred to as the worst and is at odds with multiple different gacha communities all the time.
I'll see if he's going to say it or not.
Hoyoverse related or not. As I said earlier, there are deranged members found in every group in places like Twitter and Reddit. But if you stop to take a look at the content creation side, the difference is almost one-sided. It is proven to be a viable path in content creation to shape a channel solely around farming hate on anything that stands in opposition against Wuthering Waves,
Okay, so basically, I think I've seen this channel before, and all I can say is, I mean, if you can, why not? Because obviously, there's the incentive to him to do that. He's making good money. People are just going to be like, haha, hee hee. And it is what it is. And the fact is, Genshin pissed off a lot of people, disappointed a lot of people. And people are going to applaud their downfall because people love pretentious douchebags and to see them fall. They love that shit. And Genshin for the longest time has behaved that way. And so when people are gonna see that they're struggling, they're gonna point and laugh. Because at some point they were trying, they were begging for the care that they, well, let's face it, I think they deserved. But they didn't get. And so when it's time to pay the piper, for like in Genshin's case, yeah, people are gonna laugh and people are gonna point and laugh. Of course they're gonna do that. Duh. And if he's gonna take advantage of that sentiment, well, welcome to the internet. Yeah, for CCs, in my opinion, the CCs don't hate the player, hate the game. There's an incentive. He's making money off of that. If you could, if you didn't have the same principles, you would probably be doing the same shit he is. The only difference between you and me is sorry. The only difference between me, you, and him is let's just say different sets of principles. You remove those out. You remove those out of the equation. Yeah, you're gonna do the same shit he does because it's just, you know, it's business. It's a small glitch, and you can take advantage of it. Boom, boom. You can make a career out of it. Why the hell not?
Regardless of the approach taken and how direct the creator is with their response. And if there's no content to be made at any
God damn, these guys are getting hella views. What the fuck? Jeez, 100K views, man. This shit is 5 years meets 2 years of improvement in game detail of comparing. God damn. But here's the thing, man. From a gamer perspective, this is important. I mean, you look at that and you go, well, shit. This is obviously improving. This is not. This is just lazy. And of course, people in true gamer fashion are going to support the ones that consistently make their games better instead of, well, just remaining the same lazy slop. It is what it is. Doesn't mean that people can't enjoy slop, like I said before, and people should understand that and be respectful towards that. But the fact is, this is a little impressive. But of course, like I said earlier, again, people are going to point and laugh due to how Genshin has put themselves in that position for being very rigid in their response to players' criticism.
moment to bash an opposing game, there is always the option to churn out as much fluffed up praise content as they wish to then feed into the community elitism and toxic positivity. You will not find this many public faces of a community behaving this way on behalf of Genshin Impact. You will not find this many for Honkai Star Rail. You will not find this many for Zenless Zone Zero, Arknight's Enfield, Neverness to Everness. The list goes on and on. The decentralized hub of Twitter and Reddit and its users are not held.
This guy is fucking based. Look, I don't care what you say. Cosmos has got to be the best about taking advantage of the tribalism, because making whole skits about it and just showing how insane both parties are. I feel like people are missing what Cosmos is trying to do. I think both of them look insane. Whether it's the Wuthering Waves player or the Genshin player, it doesn't matter, bro. Why you going? What, you know, we're talking about video games that sell anime girls, right? Like what these ninjas talking about. But you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's kind of the type of vibe he's trying to convey, while also feeding the tribalism for the people that miss that. That's just me, though.
To the same standards of public decorum and respect the same way a content creator is. And it's because this behavior is accepted, and in some cases rewarded within the Wuthering Wave space, is why there is so much friction between Wuwa and everybody else. Because of this, it's incredibly hard to talk about the Wuthering Waves
I
community.
don't think Legion's Gaming is one of them. I don't think Legion is one of them. Legion is kind of like me. And you'll notice this video is a very hard insert. It's 4 months ago. I think it was around when I think Pixel Tree's bike, I think probably his bike take or something. I don't know, man. I feel like this is a hard answer. Legions has clearly distanced himself a lot from that type of stuff. You know, I don't know if you want to include him here. But it's just, I guess, for the sake of making the list longer, sure, why not at some point? But I don't think Legion fits the criteria of who you're trying to reference here.
Because of this, it's incredibly hard to talk about the Wuthering Waves community free from addressing its anti-Hoyoverse side, as Wuwa's community has its share of issues with elitism and toxic positivity. But it's impossible to say how much of it is of their own genuine beliefs, and how much of it is fueled by the need to look superior over Genshin Impact or any other competing game.
Alright, he's about to say it.
As for Genshin Impact's community, it shouldn't even be a question at this point that the game will continue to thrive amidst whatever controversy is thrown their way, especially after the most recent boycott, which was reduced to just one more drop in the bucket.
That was so sad. That was so super sad, man. Super sad.
Its fans will continue to appreciate the game for reasons that even I myself will never understand.
Because people like what they like. There's nothing to understand. I like pizza more than burgers. You like burgers more than pizza. Why? Are just built different. People like what they like. It is what it is.
Part of the reason why Anti-Hoyoverse was so intent on going to war with Genshin Impact specifically is because Genshin remains the market leader in the gacha space that every new gacha game could use as a point of reference for what gacha players would put up with, no matter how underdeveloped the content or predatory the business model.
Of course, and that sends a signal to others, and if they reach the same level of success and popularity, they'll probably behave the same way. I feel like Genshin is operating the same way as Pokemon, because when you really think about it and you expand beyond gacha, there's clearly more bigger IPs than Genshin Impact. And when you look at something like Pokemon, for example, it really fits what Genshin is doing. I mean, Pokemon, for especially in the most recent times, it's just slop, man. It's just total fucking slops. And people still enjoy that slop because, hey, it is what it is. It's kind of like Genshin Impact. But the fact is, as a gamer that grew up with Pokemon, I just could no longer appreciate that. It's not the innovation that Pokemon has been doing for the longest time. It doesn't feel like Pokemon anymore. It feels like this soulless, regurgitated corpus slop that they just keep doing because they know it's gonna sell anyway. It's plus they're buggy messes and they're console freaking limited. It's so annoying to keep up with Pokemon. So you just drop it. When you look at the pros and cons, there's more cons than pros, especially if you're a, let's just say, a self-respecting gamers. No disrespect, I like Pokemon, I still love it, but I would love to go back to it. But the reality, it's kind of like Genshin Impact too, or SSR, stuff like that. I love those games. I love the investment I put in, the stories, what they're trying to sold me, that one spark and passion I had for them. I really miss that. But the reality is they're just, it feels soulless now. It's just not it anymore. But also something very important is kind of what I mentioned before. The reason why this will keep happening towards Genshin Impact is because due to the live service model of these games, the reality is Genshin has been the most rigid. It has been here for the longest and yet has been the most rigid in listening to player feedback and actually applying player feedback. It has been very slow. It's deliberate. It's on purpose. People are just tired of that, and that type of behavior is just something not people are just not going to encourage. However, due to what he already set up, I'm thinking he's probably going to move on to talk about creators more. But the reality is people are going to keep doing this because people look for ways to grandstand on others online because due to the lackings they have in their own lives. I've said this before and I'll keep saying it until this problem dissipates, because I feel like a lot of people are lost right now, as I've, because we can easily insult them back. I think you can easily do that. I mean, obviously, that's some beta cuck shit. That's some beta ass shit, obviously. But the fact is, people are just trying to adapt to, let's just say, the lackings they have in their lives in some shape or form. Now, the way they're going about it isn't necessarily the most self destructive, at least. It harms others more than it harms themselves, and they get to hide behind anonymity. But the fact of the matter is, this is just a symptom of an even greater social problem that is just, let's just say, being exerted online. And one of the spaces that happens to have this is the gacha games, because players can easily grandstand through the numbers that each gacha has, as in, I have clear data and facts to support why my opinion is superior to yours, therefore I'm better than you, therefore I get to feel better about myself, therefore I get to cope with the void and the lackings I have and the lack of validation I have in my life through this thing. So that's kind of the psychology behind this type of behavior, and it's more accentuated because of the upvotes, the applaud, etc., putting down others to make yourself go up. That's just the nature of the internet, really. I feel like it has been happening since middle school. If you really have flashbacks and you think back to when you were younger, you would have noticed this social thing being part of our, well, how we do things as people, really. So that's mainly why this will keep happening. It's Genshin's rigidity, why it's Genshin specifically, but for tribalism as a whole, it's people's lacking of validation in their own lives, lack of pussy, lack of bitches to, kind of a little aggro here. I apologize, but you kind of have to hear it. Hopefully, you can finally wake up from this lost turmoil you're in, and have your come back to Jesus moment, and finally start taking your life into your own hands and actually start making the right steps in becoming better. I really hope you can do that.
It would seem that the newer releases are already taking their own approach to monetization and implementing feedback free of the standards set by Hoyoverse, for
Yeah.
better or worse, depending on who you ask.
NGE is just clearly better. Arcanized Enfield is different. It's just different math. But NGE is just blatantly better. Like, it's obviously by design supposed to be better. Clearly, no debating.
Honkai Star Rail, interestingly enough, I would actually say is in a rather healthy spot community-wise at this point during version 4 without any massive controversies or community infighting.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I feel like the game is looking pretty decent right now. I'm genuinely interested in SSR, I really am.
I guess the Casterus Global Passive and bloated Amphorius story content was just so incredibly effective at pushing out the game's detractors while still maintaining a level of success that is competitive with its open world sibling game.
No, that's not what happened, man. The Casterus was a straw that broke the camel's back of power creep, where a lot of players, myself included, looked at that and went, you know what? I don't think I can take this game as seriously as I used to anymore. There's clear corpa. Now they're even accentuated more through a global fucking passive of must-own units. People were already tired of power creep. There was the whole greedy and stupid part, and Casters was just the final nail in the coffin. It's like, okay, they're obviously gonna go with the global passives now. They're never gonna stop. They don't want to listen. We're done. We're out. Guess what happened? The only reason why someone like myself that has said that before, well, for me personally, I'll be honest with you. Honest, if there's fun to be had, you're gonna see me. That's it. I'm a simple man. So when Casterus was around, there was, I think, was there a skip button then? I don't know. But it was around Finon. I'm pretty sure Finon, they had a skip button. That's when I really came back. Oh, yeah, there's a skip button. Oh, hell yeah. I'm about to have a good time. And I did. Finon is by far, the Fate collab too. I had tons of fun around that time. And so, yeah, I think all in all, it's not necessarily bad people or negative ansies just sitting there complaining. No. It was legit complaints that even fans of the IP, for like myself, were tired of, and really was a huge detractor to pushing us away because of how the developer practices have just became very greedy. But now that it's being fixed, when you look at the tier list right now, and when you also look at more qualities of life being implemented, like the skip button, I'm more inclined to give it a chance because they have proven, okay, we're not going to do power creep as aggressively as we used to. There's obviously going to be still because of the nature of the games you play, but hey, here we go. And now I could look at that and go, you know what? I might come back again. But the fact that Casterus is gonna be the worst thing ever, etc. No, I still pulled for it. Even people were complaining and everything. I was like, man, fuck yo, I'm getting it. She has a dragon that comes out of dimension and shoots people. What the hell? No, I'm playing that.
HSR right now is just doing its own thing and doesn't have much to worry about regarding its community. Now, for Zenless Zone Zero, however, the community has been undergoing a large-scale effort to gatekeep themselves from those that have been constantly attacking them and the game ever since it launched. Quite frankly, I'm surprised it took us so long for this to happen, but after the latter half of Season 2 and everything that transpired, enough was finally enough. DZZ has always been picked on for being perceived as a weak link for malicious individuals to attack Hoyoverse from, seeing as how Genshin Impact is practically impenetrable and the battle on the front of Honkai Star Rail was lost as quickly as it started.
What? Okay, I think I have a different perspective here because for me, Genshin is the one that's being attacked the most for good reason because it always gives you reason to want to go after it. SSR I think is cool right now. I mean, we're like in a good middle ground that I for one can appreciate and want to dip my toes again. ZZZ, I don't know why I need to attack Hoyoverse through ZZZ. Maybe it's because of lack of popularity, I guess, but besides that, there's not much reason. I mean, obviously it's a Gooner game that's somewhat, that kind of reminds me of Honkai Impact 3rd because it's not as open world, etc. It's like a mix of Honkai Impact 3rd and SSR, because of stage and stuff like that. So I don't know, like what that's so weird. This is happening, that's so weird to me.
I'm not concerned about the financial success of ZZZ because I know said talks of financial success are made in bad faith to begin with. If ZZZ doesn't make enough money, then it's treated like it's on the chopping block.
Whoever tries to keep pushing this narrative is just like, look, that's not your money. It's like, shut up. You're not even invested in their stocks. Shut up. Look, we get to see if a game is doing good or not for the sake of reassurance of that the game is going to keep doing what it's doing and the live service model gets to keep going. Besides that, just shut up. Jesus.
But if ZZZ makes too much money, the goalpost suddenly shifts, and now it's either too greedy or its players are too far gone. I do not have
Oh, of course.
the concrete financial reports and operating costs of ZZZ right in front of me, but neither do the detractors, and I have no intention of measuring success using the vague roundabouts that get thrown around by the bad faith actors who will throw those very metrics in the garbage the moment they can't use them to spin a narrative.
Right now,
Yeah.
there's this weird cultural inability to let a game simply exist at any point between industry-dominating phenomenon and corpse. Like my guy, there's a whole spectrum right there.
Yeah.
Not the one that you're on. This era of chart sales, pocket watching Steam charts more than actually playing video games has to end, man. Y'all need to get some hobbies. And
No, just get bitches. That'll fix everything. Normalize bitches. Yeah. That's it. Problem solved. Nothing fixes a man's childish behavior more than bitches. Oh yeah. They'll set you on the right track. Trust me.
then you got the Twitch view counters, which are, in my opinion, worse than your average chart sale, because how are you going to attach a game's success to streamers?
Okay, so in all fairness, people gauge popularity because people attach themselves to popular things so that way they feel better about themselves. I've noticed this a lot around middle school. People like to have the cool things. The reason why they like to have the new cool thing, right, is it's let's just say a social plus, right? Socially, you are more better off rocking the new stylish cool thing that's new and hype more than let's just say the less popular thing. It's a social thing. This is why this is a thing, and we keep going back to it. The reason why you keep witnessing this in spaces like video games, especially online, where there is not much let's just say tangible gain, it means there's psychological gain. And the only psychological gain is, like I said before, people that are just having a hard time in their life and they need validation from somewhere. And the way they do that is like how they did in middle school. You get the cool thing or you play the popular thing. So that way you are more welcome in the eyes of the people that view that as popular and value you more by seeing you behaving in a way that they think makes you better socially, if that makes any sense. That's why this keeps happening.
Especially when all it takes is one person to completely seesaw a game to the most watched category for like a single day. Some games are just more fun to play than they are to watch, and vice versa. It's just such a weird, warped perception of popularity. Relating a dead game to, oh, it only has 5-digit player numbers. It's not the most watched on Twitch. Well, I never see it on my TikTok For You page. That is not death. That is just existing without spectacle. And you know, maybe that's the real reason why people hate it. No giant crowd telling you this is the place to be, man. Come on, it's so cool. Just you and the game. Do you actually like the game?
Yep.
For a shocking number of people, that appears to be a much harder question than what are the Steam charts saying?
No, they want to do both. I can play the game, I can enjoy the game, but also I can have a social benefit from playing this game. Which, if you think about it, strategically speaking, makes sense.
I don't want ZZZ to have a Hoyoverse level of success. I wish the development team to be comfortable, but not complacent. The latter
There it
half
is.
of Season 2 and what the start of Season 3 is looking up to be has given me and many others confidence in where the game is headed for the future. ZZZ never had the scale and scope of those it shares the market with, and
Yes.
its audience should reflect that in wanting an experience that specializes in what they want and not what everyone wants. And if it takes a
Fair.
gated community to convey that very idea, then so be it. I will shed no tears, for they would have done the same thing to us had they been given the chance. But anyways, enough with waxing lyrical and whatnot. I want to talk about one last thing.
The part of us and them is so weird when you consider it's video games, man. It's like video game communities, man. It's like us and them, and hey, don't come to our video game. Just like we're not gonna get into your video game, and you're attacking our video games. There,
about how the gacha space has changed, and it all comes back to an old friend, Saint Tontos. Let me get straight to the point with this one. I've gone completely cold turkey for the last few months and have dropped all interest in covering Saint for content, save for that single shitpost video at the start of April. I don't really see a reason to drag this spat out between us any further.
Based. I know quite a few people who literally fit this meme. Thankfully, the majority of them are outside of my go, damn, bitch, you live like this? Damn.
I've talked about what I felt I need to about him, he's responded in turn, and viewers make their decision on where to stand. And it's not like there's a shortage of other creators at the ready to cover him if anything happens again anyway. I've even personally taken the chance to drop into a couple of his more recent live streams, and he was rather cordial with me when I first made my presence known despite everything that's happened.
Arikado's back. Okay, so I already see some people I already see some people they're getting ready for some Arikado shots. I feel like Arikado has simmered down. That's at least my personal take. It seems like to me Arikado has simmered down a little bit over the past couple of it seems like Mr. Zodan has simmered down a little bit since the past couple of months. So seems like he's simmered down a little bit over the past couple of months. I haven't really seen anything crazy from him. So yeah, if you do see him floating around, just I don't know. Don't like harass him too much. Yeah, keep it clean.
Ultimately,
Based. There it is. Yeah, who knew Saints could also be good at times?
the drama we both had didn't actually cut that deep, and if it wasn't obvious enough by my latest output, I don't need to shove his face on a thumbnail or name drop him in order to address any emerging controversies within the gacha space. All I need to do is cover topics that interest viewers and present them in ways that sets me apart from other creators.
Oh, yeah.
I only really have one thing left to say about Saint Tontos. If he was actually dead set on doing whatever he could to change the gacha space, in his eyes, for the better, he would have taken the initiative to carry Tectone's gacha empire forward after his departure and dial back his own rhetoric in service of the group's public opinion. But he didn't, said empire rotted from the inside out, and now remains a page for the history books of content creation.
It remains successful content creation, but that success did not come without a cost. I feel like players, especially the CCs, tons of them were already having gacha fatigue because it's always the same song and dance. And so people wanted to do different things, right? Because for the most part, a lot of people come into the CC content creation sphere through gacha or through anything really. I mean, for example, XQC started as an Overwatch player, right? That's how he was more known. Right? He was this huge, amazing Winston player. But at some point, he stopped. And now he's one of the biggest creators of all time, right? That's it. Okay, you do something first, you stop because you're just tired of it, and you move on to other things. And I feel like that's just been something that a lot of creators have experienced. I'm experiencing a little bit right now, but I don't want to stop gacha. Like if I'm gonna do different avenues, I will still do both. I don't want to give up on gacha. I like the space. I like the community. I think all in all, it has been a very positive experience for me. So I don't want to keep going at. But I don't want to limit myself to just that. And I feel like that's just something a lot of people can relate to. Just like playing different games, really. It's like playing different games. Or playing different game modes, to be specific. It's like, why not? But all in all, I don't think Saint is to blame here. I don't think he is. I think it's just people are just going to do what they're going to do, man.
I'll probably continue to jump into stream chats whenever I get the chance, but if I'm being honest, I'd like to one day build my own group and collaborate with them instead. If there's one thing I've learned from over a year of content creation, it's that sucking up to much larger creators kinda fucking blows.
Oh yeah, don't do that. That's a common trap, unless it's a big creator that actually can coach you a little bit, make you better on your craft. Don't do that. It doesn't matter. It's stupid. You just low yourself for nothing. Don't do that.
I did say I was making this video out of a sense of nostalgia, so why not just one more for old time's sake? And with that, I have said all I really wanted to about how the gacha space has changed over the last year I've been a part of it. Nothing went at all how I would have anticipated it to go, but hey, you live you learn, I guess.
Exactly.
I'll be looking forward to Season 3 of Zenless Zone Zero in the coming days, and I will welcome its best and worst moments with open arms. But until then, this has been Arikado Zodan, and I'm clocking out.
I think all in all, a positive video. All in all, it's a positive video, but I don't know, maybe different perspective, because in my perspective, in my experience, I don't see much of what he sees, but maybe because I'm not in the Zenless Zone Zero side of things, etc. I know I'm being called, for example, the anti-E-Shield out of nowhere, despite me still being positive about WUA, positive about HSR, I'm just look. I just like fun things. If I see good dev practices, I'm gonna encourage them. I don't give a shit what IP is behind them. That's just dumb to me. But yeah, that's just me though. That's just me. But besides that, I think the sentiment behind it is good. It shows also W to him and W to Saint as well, from showing that all in all, stop perpetuating that childish bullshit. We're all grown ass men trying to find a space in probably the most competitive thing you can do nowadays, which is content creation. Everybody can just pick up a mic and a camera and just put themselves out there and be competitive to you. So it's very difficult. So let's just be more helpful with one another rather than let's just say trying to tear each other down just to make ourselves grow some more. I think that's just weak. I understand it because it works. It's clearly worked for some, but I feel like we're tired of that shit. But that's just me though. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Be seeing you.